Hello and welcome to our weekly session on mindfulness meditation and living mindfully. Remembering these practices can help us to allay anxiety and worry in this time of disruption in our lives. So let's do our mini meditation to settle us and bring us right into this present moment, the right here and now. So sit comfortably where you are and gently close your eyes or cast them downwards if you prefer. Take a long, slow, deep breath right to the bottom of your lungs and sigh the breath out. And take another and check this time that you are breathing right in the bottom of your lungs and that you're not hunching your shoulders and breathing shallowly. Sighing the breath out and with it sighing any tension out. So just one more, right to the bottom of your lungs and sighing the breath out and allowing your muscles to relax, to soften and loosen. And now just allow your breathing to return to its natural normal rhythm, just for a few moments. And just focus on that breath. This is the only thing you need to focus on right now, bringing about the relaxation in your body. Just breathing in your normal, natural rhythm. And as you do this, take your attention to any sounds that are around you. They may be inside or outside. Just noticing these sounds with a gentle curiosity. Not judging them, but just noticing that they are there. Allowing them to come to you. And as you notice these sounds, just feel the flow of your breath, just coming and going. And now just for a moment, just think about where you're sitting or standing, if that's the case. Just think about the sense of touch, the pressure of your buttocks on the chair if you're sitting, the pressure of your back on the back of the chair if you're leaning against it. Just being aware of this touch, this pressure, and taking your focus there. And now just notice where your hands are. Perhaps they're in your lap. Feel the fabric of your clothing. Perhaps they're clasped, the skin-on-skin contact. Perhaps they're on the side of the chair. Just feeling wherever your hands are, the sense of touch. And as you do this, just feel the flow of your breath, just coming and going. And now, just take a slightly deeper breath. When you're ready, open your eyes, and we'll come back to this session. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the mind, and then we're going to do another longer period of meditation, as we did last week. So a mindful practice, whatever that might be for you, brings about a change in our awareness of our surrounds and how we interpret and respond to these. We are choosing to be more present, more in the here and now, and more aware of what is actually happening to us right now. And this in turn takes us out of solving everything by thought mode, which can lead to a lot of anxiety and catastrophizing. By acknowledging that there is another side of the mind, apart from the busy one, that we're very aware of, and that there is this place of stillness that we spoke of last session, allows us to change. It gives us the skills to decrease the worry and the anxiety, which can become a big part of our lives, and not just in this pandemic. This change is coming about because we are shifting our awareness from being dominated by thinking to sensing. So just to recap a little bit about the stillness within us all we talked about last time. The stillness is ever present. It's unchanging. You don't create it or make it happen. It's just always there, waiting for us to discover it, be with it and in it. And it is a place of peace. It's like the blue sky, which is unchanged by the clouds drifting across it. And so is the stillness, unchanged by our thoughts, by our actions, by anything else. Always there, always accessible for us to go to. So, to help us with this place of stillness, and also to help us become more aware of the intuitive side of our mind, we are starting to see that with our mindfulness practice, that we're shifting attention from. So instead of thinking about everything all the time and being guided by our thoughts and tending to overdo it a lot of the times, we're learning to sense more, just to be and just to feel what's going on, where we're going and what's happening. Instead of all that thinking, we're learning to observe, just to sit back a little bit and allow things to unfold. Instead of thinking that we know everything and that we need to know everything and we must be right, then we allow ourselves to be more aware of flowing, of letting things unfold. Instead of having everything outcome focused, which means that we just want to get to that destination, that the end point, we're much more aware of the process focus, which is the way that we're going to actually get there. Instead of everything being out there, which is what exteroception is, we're much more aware of what is happening within and the processes there. Instead of having a very narrow focus of attention, which is happens when it's dominated by thought, we're much more aware of a very open focus and allowing things to unfold and to flow. In other words, we're coming out of that very analytical, constructive, practical mind to live with a much more intuitive mind. And this analytical, constructive mind has been formed by our life's experiences and, remember, is very necessary, but prone to overdoing it at times and conjuring up a lot of misinformation. Even Einstein had something to say about this. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational thinking mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honours the servant and has forgotten the gift. I think that sums it up. We're really very much in the active thinking mode, and we have forgotten about this sensing, intuitive side of ourselves. So there are two aspects of our mind. There's the active thinking mind and the passive aware mind, or intuitive mind. So the active thinking mind, it's the monkey mind, and I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. It's the commentary. So we often think of things in words or in pictures. That varies from people to people, sometimes both, but that's what's going on in our mind all the time. It's always busy. It can be quite judgmental. It needs to be right. It's always goal orientated, wants to get there, get to that point. It's very involved in the past and the future. So often it can be worrying about the past, it can be catastrophizing about the future. And this is the acquired mind through our life and through our life's experience. It can be very focused, and that can be necessary at times. And it has been called the judge or the critic. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of what our active thinking mind is. And then we have the passive aware mind. So this is an observing. It's sitting back, it's allowing things to be silent, to be still, and it's observing, seeing what's going on without rushing in. It's spacious. There's no boundaries to this part of our mind and to this way of thinking. It accepts a lot more. It's patient. It's very much in the present moment. It's direct knowing. We know a lot of things. Just tapping into that intuition allows us to realize this. We know a lot. We don't have to learn and everything. It's what we call the original mind. It's kind of a little bit like that stillness. We come with it, we'll go with it. It's always there all the time. And it has been called the compassionate observer. So let's just say a little bit more about the monkey mind, because the monkey mind is pretty constant in our lives and it can cause us a few problems. So the monkey mind, it's constantly busy and it wanders and it jumps from one thought to another. It's that inner chatter of the thinking mind. You know how we can just think, and this, maybe that all the time. It's usually hyperactive and it gets distracted very quickly. It's not the kind of creative thinking that leads to decision-making and appropriate action. And just remember that. That sort of thinking is very important and very necessary. The monkey mind is filled with what ifs, maybe, perhaps, could, should. The monkey mind can have excessive rumination on hopes, wishes, dreams, concerns, and worries. And so this is when we just keep going and going with our mind. Often it is at that 3 a.m. in the morning about everything but going back to sleep. The monkey mind will wander and it'll recall fragments of a song, it rehashes past conversations, all that type of thing that jumps into your mind. It's usually judging and analysing too much. So you're faced with a problem and so you try and sort it all out in your head, and that doesn't often work all the time. It's always trying to solve everything. In fact, it's anything to keep the brain active, stimulated and distracted from this present moment experience, and along with that from our feelings. So it's a long way from the passive aware mind and that inner knowing to influence and to lead us. Right, so quite different aspects of our mind. So thinking and being in the very active aspect of our mind, that brings us away from this present moment experience. Of course, this is necessary, but when thinking, the present moment experience, but when thinking dominates, then we open ourselves up to worrying, and to strained relationships, to anxiety, and perhaps to even some mental health issues. So with our practice, we are learning to use all our mind, the rational thinking part and the intuitive sensing part. And this changes us to become more aware of our experiences, more open, and more sensitive to the people and the situations around us. So in meditation, when we recognize we're indulging in our thoughts, then we take our attention back to our breath or to the sounds around us. And this brings ourselves back into this very present moment. We can learn how to let this flow into our ordinary everyday lives. So gradually we can learn to recognize the tendency to indulge in useless thinkings. And that's even when we're not meditating. And we learn to recognize when our thinking is not the constructive type, with a definite goal in mind, but it has become the excessive thinking type, when we do all those should haves, could haves, might haves, and that list goes on too. So after all that, I think we'll do some meditation. And there was just something I thought of then, that if you do see that should have, would have, could have in your mind at some point in time when you're trying to do something, then that could be a good time when you just say, hey, this is happening, and you stop and you take some deep breaths, and that will break that cycle of the should haves, could haves, maybes. Anyway, so we'll do a longer period of meditation, and just before we start doing that, I'd just like to have a word on posture here. It's important to be comfortable and you don't want to be strained, assuming a certain posture that doesn't work for you. But at the same time, we want to assume an upright and relaxed posture, not allowing ourselves to slump or to sag, because in doing this, we are opening ourselves up to all the possibilities meditation has to offer. If we do slump, it indicates that we're sleepy or not paying enough attention to the process. And also, if we are trying too hard, then, or we're setting out to achieve a goal, then often our posture is too rigid and we don't get the same effects because we're not able to relax. So just recapping on our meditation, we're going to sit or lie comfortably and relax. We're going to focus on the sounds around us, and we're going to determine the point to when thoughts in our body with our breath to return to when thoughts arrive. We're going to bring ourselves into the present moment by body awareness, and then we're going to sit in silence, always remembering that no thought right now needs any action. We will increase the time we sit in silence. Last week it was around 3 minutes, so this week we'll aim for 4 to 5. If at any time you feel uncomfortable or that is too long, just gently open your eyes, take a deeper breath or two, and do whatever feels right for you. So, let's just take a moment to settle into your chair. Just get comfortable in whatever way is right for you. Adjust your position so your back is as upright as is best for you. Tuck your chin in a little bit to straighten your spine. And then find where your hands are most comfortable. Perhaps resting on your thighs or clasped in your lap. Place your feet flat on the floor, a little apart. And when you are ready, gently close your eyes, or if you prefer, just cast them downwards. And now we'll take a few moments to relax. Just checking through our bodies for relaxation, allowing the muscles to soften and loosen. So first of all, take your attention to around your eyes. All those tiny little muscles that we tend to screw up and hold tight. Just focus on those and allow them to relax. Thinking about your forehead too and allowing that to relax. And now take your attention to around your jaw. Again, lots of little muscles, and often we hold this part tight. Perhaps wriggle your jaw a little bit from side to side. Whatever feels right for you, just focusing on this area and making sure the muscles are relaxing. And now to your shoulders, big muscle groups here. Punch your shoulders up towards your ear if you like, and then let them go. Allowing that relaxation to come after tightly contracting the muscles. Do it again if it feels right for you. Just allowing all those muscles to soften and loosen as you let go. Let the tension out. And now taking your attention down through your arms, through your elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, maybe wriggling your fingers a little. Just focusing on these areas and making sure all the muscles are relaxed, allowing them to soften and loosen. Now bring your attention to your chest and belly and buttocks, along your spine. Just think about these areas. See if you can sense any tension there. Thinking about them and allowing the muscles to soften and loosen. And now to your legs, perhaps allowing your knees to roll in or out a little. Just checking for relaxation. Often we hold them tight. And then moving on down through your knees, calves, ankles, feet, toes, perhaps wiggling those. Just checking all through your legs for relaxation, allowing the muscles to soften and loosen. And now we're going to take 3 deep breaths to aid this relaxation, sighing the tension out, but also to symbolize the start of your meditation. So breathing in whatever way is right for you, right to the bottom of your lungs, and sighing the breath out, and with it, any residual tension. And 2 more in your own time, right to the bottom of the lungs, allowing the muscles to soften and loosen. Allow your breathing to return to its normal, natural rhythm for you, not altering it in any way. Just breathing in and out in whatever way is right for you. Perhaps in through your nose, out through your mouth. Perhaps in and out through your nose or your mouth. Just focusing on your normal, natural rhythm in whatever way is right for you. And now focus on this breath and see where it is most apparent for you. Perhaps it's the rise and the fall of your belly. Perhaps it's the coolness of the in-breath at the beginning of your nostrils or mouth. Perhaps it's the warmth of the out-breath. Just taking these few moments to see where your breath is most apparent for you. And this is the point that you can return to any time in your meditation when thoughts encroach. And remembering, if thoughts are coming, we allow them to go. And no thought right now needs your attention. And now taking your attention to any sounds that might be around you. Maybe inside the room, outside the room. Just noticing without any effort, just with a gentle curiosity, not judging the sounds, but just allowing them to be there, allowing them to come to you. And this is bringing you right into the present moment. As you notice the sounds, you may also feel the flow of your breath, just coming and going. And now to bring us even more into this present moment, we're going to take our attention to our feet. We're not moving our feet in any way. We are sensing our feet, really feeling them, not imagining them, but sensing them. To do this, perhaps notice the temperature, warmth or coolness. Perhaps notice the feel of the fabric of your socks or stockings, the pressure of your shoes, the pressure of your feet on the floor. Just really sensing your feet. Perhaps there is tingling there that you haven't been aware of before. Just focusing on your feet, sensing them, feeling. Now bring your awareness to your hands. Once again, just sensing and feeling, not imagining or moving, but really feeling into your hands. Perhaps they're clasped and you can feel the skin-on-skin contact. Perhaps they're resting on your thighs and you can feel the touch of the fabric of your clothing. Perhaps they're warm or cool. Perhaps there's some tingling in them that you weren't aware of before. Just really sensing, feeling your hands, and as you do, feel the flow of your breath. If thoughts come, just take your attention back to your breath, or perhaps back to your hands or to your feet. These are also points of contact you can do so that you don't become engaged in your thoughts. In other words, you don't start thinking a lot. And now once again, take your focus back to your breath, not changing it in any way. You're just focusing on the in-breath and then the out-breath, and again the in-breath. And see if you can notice a very short pause between these parts of the breath. This isn't holding your breath in any way. This is just becoming aware of the natural pause between your in-breath and your out-breath. And noticing this pause is leading us to become aware of the stillness that is always there within us. As we become more aware of our thoughts coming and going, then often we notice a break between thoughts and the stillness is there. Remembering thoughts are like clouds drifting across the blue sky. The clouds come and they go, but the blue sky remains the same, untouched, unchanged, and forever still. And so it is with thoughts. They come and they go, and behind them is the stillness. Stillness is always there, unchanging, untouched by our thoughts or actions. Now remembering, as we prepare for silence, that when thoughts encroach, take your attention back to your breath, or the sounds, or perhaps your feet or hands. Remembering that there is no thought right now that needs action, and you always can just focus on your breath, just feeling the flow of the breath coming and going. So we will sit in silence without my voice for a few minutes. And now, as we become closer to the end of our meditation, perhaps deepen your breathing a little. Perhaps just have a little wriggle or stretch. Bring yourself back into this present moment in this room. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. I hope this longer period of meditation is working for you. And remember that you can spend as long or as short of time in that state. And it can be very pleasant. And as we talk about once more, it can be just your special place. It's a place of comfort and peace. So just to remember, a mindful practice gives us the opportunity to choose happiness, or at least peace, over anxiety and worry. It's a powerful strategy because it is empowering. And I think that's very apt. And when you think about our mind, our active thinking mind and our intuitive mind, and when we learn to activate both of these, then we certainly find that to be very empowering as well. Well, that's enough for today. We're going to just remember that there is information on the website in the previous sessions about stress or relaxation or sleep or whatever it is you might like to refresh. And so from next week, we're going to spend a little bit more time talking about the mind and how meditation can influence our relationships and the environment around us. So until then, I wish you well, and I hope you have a chance to do some mindful practice during the week, and that you can see that it is starting to have some effects. Consistent practice certainly does. So I wish you well. See you next time.